if someone has to say, anything to say from the audience, we always allow them time to do that at the last of the meeting. So, but first thing we do is have a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, that brings us to the department reports for the council. We have the police department report. I think all of you have it there in front of you, council members. If there's any questions, please anything.
The chief had a death in family?
I think it was was it
A wife's grandfather.
grandfather? That's what it was. Over in Owensboro, right?
No, it was a boy.
That's right.
It was a boy.
That's right. Oh, it was Boyd.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody on the council have a question for the chief? All right, that brings us to code enforcement. I think you got a report in there from Ed. I'll try to answer any questions you have. He updates me every day or two now. He's working on a few new ones, a couple of new ones, and then he's still working on some we've been working on for a while. Any of the council have any questions on that? All right, that brings us to the fire department. I think everything's been going pretty good down there. They've had pretty good December. They've had a couple of activities and had to do some extra work to accommodate that. We had the Logan County Detention Center. This is the second year, I think it is, that we've partnered with them to allow them to have their employee Christmas dinner at our fire department. And the time you get all of their employees and their families together, it's a pretty good sized group. And then I was there, and I think there was a couple of council members there. There's different people, and it was really nice. And they really appreciate having our building used to have that in. And also we had that was in November, we had the veterans thing, right? So we've already mentioned that in the last meeting. Okay. We talked about that, but that's something else that they had to do some extra cleanup for. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate the fire department and the volunteers and the way they help out. And our city staff was involved in that as well. But it's really nice. And I'll say again, that Veterans Day celebration, I'll be honest with you, I think next year that'll grow and grow. And I want to see it grow till we have a hard time holding everyone in there, to be honest with you. It did my heart good to see that many veterans there and celebrating. But I think they all appreciated it too. Anyone have any questions? I think all the equipment is being caught up, and I think they've got some minor maintenance things going on, but nothing major in any equipment. Anyone else have any more questions on the fire department? All right, water and sewer. We've got some things there to discuss, I guess. Mostly, they've been doing some maintenance as far as there was a few meters that still needed to be changed out that were very difficult. We've been working on some of those that required quite a few changes to get them changed out. There's only like 4 or 5 of them, but still, we're trying to get those knocked out.
Took a lot of parts, first of all, because they're kind of oddball ones.
Yeah, and I guess the biggest thing that happened here recently, they had a pretty bad leak last weekend. We found on Sunday afternoon, like down here right across from the fire hall. you probably see that muddy area there. As soon as it warms up a little bit this week, we hope to get that cleaned up, but, we had to dig a large area out to get that 6-inch main line, had a pretty bad crack in it. Anyway, that we were able to get that fixed, get it repaired, it's all good. But, I think that's really the only major thing other than scheduled maintenance and scheduled changeouts that we've had this month. There is 2 things for the council to address. You've got those descriptions and everything else in the packet right now.
So the first thing that I put is our authorized positions list as it is right now, and the most recent salary scale with the grades listed, that corresponds with it. So that's just what we have existing, just for reference. And then I did do, those 2 job descriptions.
What this is about is, I think I've already discussed it with the council a couple of times, really. The objective was to move Kelly Jordan into the utilities director position so he could focus more, helping me with projects and things like that. And then the person, of course, that we've hired, it's really not adding a position in that area. It's just kind of shifting Kelly's title, basically. And then we would still have our water superintendent, John Ogle, who we just hired. And then Caleb Rogers is the person that's coming up right now, but there may be a lateral move there. I'm not sure how that's gonna work out. Anyway, we've got some things happening there, but it's not really adding into those 3 positions that we currently have. Now, the next thing I wanna talk about does shift the position we already have from general government to water and sewer, but I'll address that separately if you don't mind. I'd like to go ahead and address the utilities director portion of it, if we could. Doesn't change his salary, doesn't change anything else, it just changes the title so that we can move in that direction.
And
Have
then,
someone more focused on it.
yeah, if that position is approved, we'll also need to choose what grade it corresponds to, so that we can get that on the list. So that's why I put that in there for you guys.
Is there any questions about that?
Yeah, well, this new director, what grade would it fall under?
Let's see. Is this the right schedule I'm looking at right here?
That's our most up-to-date one. We haven't changed it since that time. So that's the existing one. That's just kind of the range that goes with each position. That's not necessarily what that person in that position is exactly making, because they're pretty wide ranges in those grades. Like the existing, what Kelly would be right now would be wastewater operator 2. And so he's in the 23 range. But he's gotten those bumps when he's gotten his certifications. Sorry, the word will not come to me. So he's somewhere in that 23 range, plus I guess $1 with his allowance with his certification. If that makes sense. I don't know off the top of my head the exact number of nights, but somewhere in that grade. So if you guys do choose to approve that utilities director position, you also need to decide what grade the salary would correspond with, if that makes sense.
I'd like to go with the grade 24. It gives a little more flexibility, because as you can see, do you see that schedule? It's the schedule right here. And what this is a range, like this is the grade here.
I'm with you.
Okay. In the grade here, 24 is where I'd like to stay. And that gives a little more flexibility for us when I make the changes, right? Yeah,
So you need a motion for that?
I'm sorry.
You need a motion for everything?
Yeah, a motion to, I guess, to create the utility director position, and then go ahead and make the motion at a grade 24, if you don't mind. If
Well,
that's
I'll
suitable.
that motion.
Okay. Put that in motion. To approve the position at grade 24.
Okay, well, motion on the floor.
These are new positions, right? They're not.
No, well, I'm sorry, yes, the position, the name is new, but it doesn't change anything, like Kelly's still gonna be, he's already doing this job, right? And it doesn't, this particular motion that you're making now does not add a position anywhere.
It's just a title.
It's just a title and its salary range is really staying the same. So it's just, have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion on that?
That title, does it title more money to?
No, right now, not, you know, but maybe in the future as we grow and he takes on more responsibility, that might be something we have to look at. But this is the problem. Right now, we're not set up for anyone else to know about our projects, to know what's going on, to do that nuts and bolts stuff with our projects, water and sewer projects. And I've been doing it. And I don't mind doing it. I'm not gonna be around forever. I need somebody else to come into the fold and understand what's going on, and be able to take that role, that part of that role.
So act as a utility.
He's gonna be the utility director. He'll be over the water and sewer departments, which he basically is doing now, but it's still, you know, this would give more latitude
So
for him.
actually, it makes him independent.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
And gives him more responsibility at the same time as well, which is sometimes not a good thing, right? But, you know, he's really eager to take it on, and he wants to learn that portion of the role.
This is Kelly, right?
Mm-hmm. Kelly Jordan. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Okay. Paul Tisdale,
Yes, ma'am.
Megan Thomas,
Yes.
Rex Evans,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory.
Yes.
Okay, the next role on there is GIS technician, which we've actually had that going on with the cemetery for quite some time now, about a year,
Thereabouts, yeah.
close to a year. Nick Hines has been doing that as a part-time employee. Now, he works almost full-time, but as a part-time employee for close to a year now, doing all of our GIS mapping for the cemetery and getting our cemetery lined up where he's actually plotting and doing more than that. They've been researching who's buried where and plotting that as we go along, right? And then GIS mapping it, and what that means is eventually we'll be able to walk out there with our little iPad or cell phone, either one, and shoot in the coordinates and stand over a certain spot and know within an inch or so of where the corner of that plot is and who's buried there. We'll have that data available. And I can't tell you how valuable that's going to be with the issues we've had taking over an old cemetery that didn't have any records. Now, while we've been doing this, we've also plotted the new cemetery at the same time. And it's just about complete. It's ready to turn over. McGee Engineering is going to turn that into a data plot that we can utilize through their software, right? But Nick is the one that's, and Laura Dole, working with him, have gathered all this data, and then Nick is the one that's done the plotting in the software. He's taking care of that. So he's proven his worth. And now I'm gonna switch. That's the general government side, right? That's the cemetery side, which is almost complete. So I'm gonna switch horses on you here. I'm gonna go to the water and sewer side, and I think in the budget workshop, I talked to y'all about GIS mapping our valves, GIS mapping our water lines, GIS mapping on the water side, the valves, all of the water lines, the fire hydrants, determining flow in that fire hydrant, everything would be in this GIS database, right? So I think all of you know the issues we've had in isolating water leaks in our system because we don't have isolation valves where they need to be. We don't have the ability to know which one's what. We just don't. And to get that sorted out and have it again where you can walk up within an inch of a valve, you know the valve's here. Because the coordinates say it is, it's right there. It brushes over it, you still move it and find it. You know what I'm saying? It's very invaluable when you have a water leak. You don't have to cut half the town off just to fix a leak, you know, or the whole thing. But, so, being able to find out what you have through GIS mapping, and then determine what you need as far as isolation valves in a methodical way, where you can isolate certain portions of that system, if that makes sense, without cutting the whole thing off just to fix a leak somewhere. You know, this doesn't make sense. So, we talked about that in the budget workshop, but it has become more and more evident that we need to go ahead and move forward with that. As a matter of fact, in the budget workshop, if you remember, we talked about budgeting some money for that software for GIS mapping. And I don't think we talked about it a lot because, you know, it was in the future, right? But, what we've been able to do is partner with a group. Now, they will come do it for you for a cost. But Kelly and John and Caleb, if they're taking care of the water and sewer stuff, they do not have time to go out and research all this data and find these lines, find these valves. You know what I'm saying? Accumulate that data. And to be quite honest with you, they don't have the expertise. And I don't either.
A one-time thing where they just map it out and that's it. It's not.
Well, it'll take longer than that because as soon as we get the water done, we'll do the sewer, right? You know, find the sewer lines and where they're at. It's not just like the manholes, but we would find the actual line locations and GIS map those lines where we know exactly. We ain't got to dig up a whole street to find a spot, right? You know what I'm saying?
Once they're done doing the work,
The guy doing
is it done after that? We've got a map and that's.
I'm looking.
Growing, I guess.
That's right. When it's done, yes, you're right. That when it's completed, and I can't give a firm timeline, my thoughts are about a year and a half is what they do the water and the sewer effectively. And I think it's gonna take a year and a half, maybe 2 years.
For like new roads and stuff, if we have to build for.
Yeah. But we've got an opportunity here to have somebody that wants to be here, to be honest with you, that's not charging us their degree financial capabilities. You know what I mean? They're not charging us as what someone else might that has a bachelor's degree in applied sciences. You know, it's and Nick wants to be here. He likes it. He does a great job for us. But my thing is, what I would like to do is have him work with our software provider that's going to give us the GIS mapping software. And then instead of paying them, trying to depend on Caleb or one of them to try to learn how to do this, we have someone that can hit the ground running and get the job done and knows this software, knows how to manipulate it, right?
He's been working for over
A year,
and a half
yeah.
out there with the cemetery, so he's got experience.
So that is my reasoning for coming to you now. I think it's gonna be a position that we would create for at least a year and a half. I think might be closer to 2 years. And Nick has agreed to that. He knows that. After the mapping's done, he knows that unless we find another position or another reason, you know what I mean, he would probably move on to something else. So, and I found Nick to be a man of his word. So, I guess I'm asking the council to create two things. To create the GIS technician position. It would be paid for. We would switch him. He would no longer be being paid from the city's general government, right? He would be being paid from water and sewer. And because that's who he's been working for. He would answer to Kelly as the utilities director and me. And because I'm gonna try to filter that load onto Kelly a little bit at a time. That's a load that he doesn't need with the other stuff. But so that's my request of the council, is to create that position, most likely, let's just call it 2-year position. And then create the scale. Did you put a scale in there?
I didn't, there's not a super comparable one.
Yeah. So,
The only other sort of administrative position in the utilities department would be the utilities clerk, like Lisa, she's at grade 18. I don't know if that's what we want to go along, I don't know, that's up to you guys.
this is what I would request, is just go with grade 20 and gives me some flexibility. We're at the lower end of that right now. Mid end of that. That would be my request.
Grade 20 would put him
That's,
right there under that.
That would put him between utilities clerk and the operators. And it's the same as an entry-level maintenance position.
With exposure of increase in salary and all that.
he does not require that. The only increase that our cost would be right now, is his insurance basically, because we're already paying the time on it. So basically his health insurance would be the only additional cost, create that position and hire him.
He's already been doing some of this already, right?
Not the utilities.
He's been doing the same thing, but for the cemetery, basically. I say the same thing, it's not.
He's doing the same thing, but this is different.
We're basically switching him to water and sewer for 2
Yeah.
years, and let him answer the bill, do GIS mapping for our water and sewer system. It's pretty cool, I'll tell you. You can take that little tablet and walk out in the field once your data's in it, and walk over that valve and give you the coordinates, tell you what valve it is, and whatever data you put in that's associated with that valve, like it turns off the line, 6-inch line going west. You know what I mean? It isolates that line. It tells you that over on the side in a little written form. It tells you what size the line is, what size the valve is, and it's located within about an inch of where you're at. Yes, it's gonna be up.
Wouldn't the mapping that Mackie and Helen do on people's water bills, it doesn't actually come under that? I mean, not
We
just.
have no map for the
But
utilities.
you know whose house it is, though.
Oh, yeah.
I have
Now, this is
I
a-
have a list.
See, all the meters would be mapped in that
That's
GIS
what I'm saying.
map as well.
So the
You-
computer would tell you where it's at.
No,
It wouldn't
no.
have it.
It will give you the address, but as for where the meter sits, where the valves are, where the line is, no. I have no map, nothing. I have a list of your name, your address.
And we really probably will try to map as a later version, because the lead service line inventory is going to create this issue. As we change out people's supply lines to their home, we will map those as we make those changes, whenever we do. Now, that's gonna be over a period of years, but they'll be mapped as well. Right now, most people that buy a house, you know, it's already built, they don't know where their water line or their sewer line is in their yard, you know, and we don't either, because we didn't put it in either, right, you know, so.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of people that do, you know, I mean, I know where mine is because I changed it, but that's the only reason I know where it's at.
Kelly and John have maps.
They
Not
have
that I have
prints,
an office.
they have prints and maps of some of the lines. But the problems are, some of them start in 1934. They don't have a lot of stuff on them. And then the ones we have that are new, you got a stack of maps, stack of prints this tall for 3 streets that we replaced in the last 15 years, and that's it. You know, the rest of it's still old stuff that's just sporadic.
Even that machine we was gonna use for the cemetery, that little,
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't use that machine for that?
For the mapping? No, this is more GIS, it goes to the satellite. Actually, the satellites feed data back down where you're at, it gives coordinates, triangulates coordinates. And it feeds it into that machine, and into your tablet, and it says, yes, it's right here, within an inch.
If you've ever used
Okay, gas line.
if you've ever used the state's land office map or the floodplain map that they have at the watermaps.ky, those are GIS maps.
It'll
I
give
don't know if you've
coordinates.
used either one of those, but those are GIS maps. So is the PDA's map, it's a GIS map.
Sounds like valuable information to me.
Over a period of time, Travis, yes, it will be very, very valuable. That's, right now, it would be for the water, that's why we're doing it first. But, well, that's not
The
planned.
lines aren't gonna move after we map it, or that, I don't think, I mean.
And as we put, like, we've got this project coming up next year on Main Street, you know, that we're replacing the main, and then we're replacing some of the sub lines as well, you know, some of the subsidiary lines. So, as we replace that, Nick would be GIS mapping it. Everything goes in, the meters, everything, the valves, all of it, he'll go out and GIS map it right there. The
This,
line itself, you know, all
this GIS technology, I know we use it for the cemetery. Of course, it's a wide open field, you got a plot and all that. Does it do it work? Does it work? Has it worked for mapping 6-inch lines, 4-inch lines? So it's something that's feasible out there.
They've been doing it, the GIS mapping, believe it or not, this guy has been doing it for 26 years. Now, the technology he started with doesn't look anything like it does today, but he's, and I've known him for several years. You know me about software, I don't trust software people very easily, because we've had some issues, but I've seen what he's done and who he's done it for, and I've talked to several other cities that they've worked for, so.
I mean, we can print this stuff out too, can't we? Like, so we can have a hard copy of it as well, the mapping that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it'll, anything that's on that database will be able to print right out.
And so we'll have a copy of it.
Like I do for you guys with the PDA map, when we're talking about properties, sometimes I can like zoom in and out, you can see the lines and things like that, of like exactly what we're trying to look at, or you can zoom it out and get the whole area. I think it'll be pretty interactive.
It'll be stored, all that data as we accumulate it, will be stored in a database where you can access it anytime. And we store, just so y'all know, we have off-site storage as well. We don't have everything just here in our servers. We have off-site storage for all that database and everything as well. So we actually got 3 different places that we store all of our data. But yeah, that would be my request, is to move on forward with this while we have this opportunity at a reasonable cost to us. At a reasonable cost to us. This is gonna be the most cost-effective way for us to get this work done.
Sounds like we need a motion.
And you talked with Nick, and he's read all of his responsibilities, he's on board with everything, I'm sure.
The only thing he was worried about, and I'm gonna tell you, like I did, Nick is very true blue to what he's dedicated to. He said, now, ma'am, if I do have to do a little something for the cemetery, I can still do that, can I? I said, yeah.
You don't wanna leave Laura at work.
That's how true blue he is, you know.
I make a motion that we add the GIS technician position and nominate Nick.
At a grade, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but the grade
Yeah,
20,
right.
if that's okay.
What's the grade again?
Grade 20, if that's okay, that gives me a little flexibility on
Do
that.
you wanna add
So
grade 20
you're
to
looking,
your
when you
motion?
wanna go to 20, you're looking for that top number, correct?
I'm not there, I'm not even close there, I'm mid-range.
No, yeah,
That's
no.
how,
Nick's not at that.
that's how
He's-
good
he's
of an
about midway
opportunity
through
we
that
have right
range.
now.
Grade 20 would be between 13.14 an hour and 21.02 an hour. He's in between there.
As I said, we have a great opportunity here. Someone wants to be here and learn themselves too. Continue to learn about GIS mapping. And to be honest with you, when he finishes these projects, he'll be very valuable for someone.
This type of position is somewhere else too outside of Oregon?
I'm sorry?
Does it exist anywhere else outside of Oregon?
A lot of cities are doing it right now, as we speak.
Well, in this kind of position, it's not a city-specific position. I mean, people are doing mapping projects and all kinds of things. It's a GIS technician. I'll be honest, I didn't write this off the top of my head. I consulted lots of other examples of GIS technician job descriptions, and there were ones from counties, cities, PDAs, all the way to like private factories and things like that that want to map their facilities. And I mean, there's private sector and public sector GIS tech jobs.
Yeah, Mr. Dixon does a lot of, this company we're dealing with, they do a lot of, industrial facilities. They'll go in and map their rooms, and he was showing me, they'll map each like drive unit or motor and pump, and they'll go around the wall and show all that stuff. I'm gonna tell you, it's pretty cool technology, and you know it's there. And he had one facility that had a bad fire, and they used his mapping data for the insurance to show what he had, and then it got torn up, which I thought was pretty nice.
It's pretty wild stuff, because farmers use it anymore. They map their fields, put on auto, for their tractors, and so.
Yeah, they'll map their field when they're planting.
Yep. So there it is. Pretty neat.
So we got a motion on,
I think we have a motion for the pay scale and for the hire. Is that, for the job position? Is that correct?
Peggy, in your motion to add the position, you did want to do at grade 20?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes, we do have a motion on there to approve and add what grade.
Okay.
Oh, and Rex is second?
Yeah.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion from the council? I'll be happy to answer any questions I can. Some of it's over my head, but if there's not any more discussion, roll call, please.
Claude Tizell,
yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Rex Evans,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory.
Yes.
All right, that brings us to streets and sidewalks. We've got, some really talented, detention center inmates right now. One of them's a heck of a welder, did it all his life, and he's building some new handrails for me. And so, we benefited from that. But,
I'd like to say the sidewalk looks a lot better down Main Street than Lee's.
they were overwhelmed there for a while, yeah.
They gotta clean up all like that.
When it warms up some, we still got some low hanging limbs to trim too. Not, we trimmed some of them, but we ain't got all of them yet.
Can we get the street and the sidewalk cleaned up over on Walnut?
Is it, now the one going down Walnut?
Well, there's like 4 houses there that don't do anything with their leaves in this kind of street, sidewalks covered up.
I know the ones you're talking about. We'll try to get that taken care of.
At least we can do a little over there, maybe.
We'll try to get that taken care of.
I've got something back on
Right
water
there.
and sewer. Back in the earlier part of the year, we had all the flood and rains and stuff, and we had the issue on the north side of Main Street with, stuff floating up in people's yards.
Yeah, over behind like where Ron McGee lives.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody said they was gonna put in sewer, it was talk about putting sewer line from Roosevelt over to that pump station.
Try to, now the one, I'll see if I can explain this where you can understand it. I know I may not explain it very well, but right behind where Ron McGee lives, there's a manhole right back there by that little carport he has, you know what I'm talking about. That manhole goes straight from there over to that Park Street lift station. And that line is new, a bit of that's brand new. Now the line going from that manhole over toward Minute Mart, backside of Minute Mart, is new, and we put a new manhole over there several years ago. From that same manhole behind Ron's house, going straight up to Roosevelt Street, to the backyards there, is not new. It's still old clay tile that leaks a lot of water. And that's where the problem is. Now, we have a project number in the system, to try and maybe address that the next year too, as far as sewer. Does that answer your question, Reg?
Yeah, an individual just asked me about it, I told him I didn't know anything about it, I knew,
Well,
I had.
we just got the project number in, Wayne, what's the name of that system? WRIS?
Yeah.
WRIS. We just got the project number in the WRIS system, just probably in the last couple of months. And, it has its own project number now. That allows us, now Kelly and me, to, look for a way to fund that.
What is this, he's asked me about, I told him I didn't know anything, I hadn't heard anything about a line from Roosevelt to that.
Yeah.
So, man,
Well, the reason being is, if we can isolate the rest of that clay pipe, then we won't have so much, and there's some on Roosevelt itself, I think, that's coming in from some clay pipe. It's in that project as well, right to that low area, right there next to the blue hole and all that. There's some right in there, I think, is leaking as well. Clay pipe that's busted and shifted over the decades, you know. It was all put in 1958. And, I was born in 1958, so I know how decrepit things are from that year right now. Yeah, so anyway, the line shifting around and whatever, you know, it just kind of makes a mess. But, so if that answers your question, then I'll be happy to show you that project outline too, if you want to see it sometime. Or any of the rest of you, if you want to see it. Is there any other questions on water and sewer? All right, we got on streets and sidewalks, and you gave me, Jeff gave me one to look at over on Walnut Street. And I've still got some limbs, low hanging limbs that Travis brought up. Hopefully it'll warm up a little bit the next 2 weeks. Yeah. The, park, that brings us to the park, and things have slowed down there. We winterized the main restrooms, and we still, like we have done the last several years, leave those small restrooms on the east side of the creek. Those 2 small restrooms where that little pavilion is, we leave those open in the winter, and we have those heated. It's not cost us too much to heat them, not too much trouble cleaning in the winter, so we leave those on. And I'm surprised that as many people, you know, get down and walk in the wintertime, you know, there's always someone walking down there, and they appreciate having those restrooms instead of the portable toilets, so. To be honest with you, I don't think the heat's costing as much as the portable toilets did per month, so. I'm glad we did that, we insulated them good, put heat in there. Is there any questions on the park for me to council? Tourism. Rhonda usually gives that update, but she is not here.
She gives me a little bit of an update.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. She stopped in my office a little while earlier and just kind of checked in. Right now is her downtime anyways. Usually between Christmas time and our egg hunt in April, a little bit of a lull. She is still meeting with her tourism volunteers and all that good stuff. She did say that instead of trying to have Mardi Gras early this year because of the weather, that we are going to do a May Mardi Gras parade. So we're going to push that a little bit too into the spring. And she said if anybody has any grand ideas for tourism events, like she talked about last time, she's not the end-all be-all of tourism. She would love to know if anybody has any ideas of events that they'd be interested in doing, and that kind of thing. So, reach out to us if there's anything that you want to do, and now's the time, because it's kind of our planning lull time for the year.
Yeah, we're coming into a time of year when Ron and our tourism volunteers get a little bit of a break.
And they kind of plan for
They
next
do
year.
a lot of planning during January, February, March usually.
I'd like to say that I think Rhonda does a fantastic job. I mean, she puts her whole heart in it. And she has volunteers, yes, to help her, but she does an amazing job. And, with all she does, I think that, maybe the city needs to look at finding her a building where she can put all of her stuff together and operate, you know, out of one place and not having to store stuff here and here and here. But I think we need to think about that.
I've been trying to push to renovate the old water plant out there. I don't know if that's feasible.
It would be okay for storage, but I don't know how it would be for her to use, what's the word I'm looking for, not accessibility, but.
Operate out of it or something.
Yeah, presentation, you know, wise for people to view and see, you know. But it would, it could, we're using it for storage now, you know, but,
Okay.
yeah,
I just like
those tanks and pumps and everything that are in there. I tried to talk to a couple of scrap people, you know, scrappers, and to see if they were interested in removing all that stuff. And, none of them would do it for free. They want the scrap and then they want money too.
Well, I mean, we tried to tear out a wall and get everything out, but I just, it's just, if we're gonna keep it, it look better if we clean it up a little bit, cause it's,
I agree.
park's open till 10, I go to the park sometimes at nighttime, it's kind of a creepy looking building at nighttime, and we could utilize the space.
Yeah.
Or the land that it sits on, if we were to build something.
That building is a kit, and I didn't know that until I started looking at it more closely. And I guess I'm saying this correctly, but the floor, the concrete floor is elevated about 5 feet off the ground. Well, there's tanks down underneath that floor and above that floor. And then the building is concrete up about 5 feet, and then the metal starts. So it's really weird about what you could and could not do with that. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That I don't know how to get to it feasibly and cheaply enough, just not to tear it down, cave it in, you know, but.
I mean, if it's cheaper to tear it down, I'm just saying it's space and it's a creepy looking building, you know.
I have, the old water plant is from 1934, brick building, and it's not a bad building. It just needs pretty much gutting, you know, getting some of the old stuff out of there. But the old MCCs and that, but we use that building to store mowers in and stuff during the summer, so we don't have to run back up here.
Do you know anything about the, Go station building? Is it,
Local station.
huh?
Yeah, I think maybe we might talk about some things here in just a little while.
Okay.
The, economic, anything else on tourism? All right, economic development. Still looking for some, the product development initiative money at the state level, looking for some of that to do a feasibility study for our property out here, so bear with me on that. It might be a time-consuming process, but anyway, we're moving through that. And I just wanted you to know that there was some movement on it, you know, moving a little bit anyway.
I haven't moved probably as quickly as I should on the surplus sale, on Maple, and I apologize for that. It's just kind of gotten to the bottom of my priority list, but I'm gonna pick that back up to, getting that advertised in the paper, shared on Facebook, listed on the deals, all that good stuff. I had several people ask me about it, and, that's me, I'm sorry.
We'll get that advertised here in the next little while. May get some extra time on it because of the holidays, you know, just get a little extra time on that advertisement for sale. Is there any questions on that from the council? All right, that brings us to the senior center. I think the only thing that she had in there that she really wanted to address was the sign. And it's done. I just haven't picked it up yet. It's a Gerald printing.
Great.
Yeah. It's done, we just need to get it picked up. But then James, during these warm days, maybe he can get it installed, so. And I think that's the only request she had on there that I read. Is there any questions on the senior center report from the council? I think everything's going good. They had 9 rentals.
It is
9 to 10,
booked
that's-
for December. I mean, it has been one after the other after the other after the other.
It's been
We have
pretty
people
busy.
coming in after their Christmas time reservations, and when they turn in the key, they wanna go ahead and book it for the next Christmas. People love it.
Is there anything else on the senior center? All right, that moves us to the cemetery, and, I think we had our Wreaths Across America Saturday, Saturday, and the attendance was down, but it was cold, you know, people, I don't think wanted to stand out there, but we still had a very, very nice service, and a good service, and we placed over 300 wreaths on Veterans Day. So, they were sponsored by the public. It's just a great, I think it's just a great event for our veterans.
Every known veteran in our cemetery was sponsored this year for the second year in a row, which is awesome. Laura wanted to thank everybody, all of our donors, all of our volunteers profusely. She was beating herself up a little bit because she didn't do as much as she likes to do. She was down and out a little bit, but she's done a fantastic job leading up to all of it, all the planning and all that good stuff. And it was a great ceremony. Just the vibe of the ceremony is always really nice. It's nice to be able to pay respect like that to the veterans in the cemetery, and it looks so beautiful with all the wreaths out there.
We started out the year before with 240 something, I think, I can't remember, 240 something known veteran graves, known to us. Laura, through research, and Nick helped her too, through research, found almost up to 300, I think it is now.
I think we're at 327.
327, and still finding veterans that we didn't know about. So, through the help of the Legion and different people, I mean, and just people telling us, you know, giving us a name that they knew was a veteran, and we've been able to trace that back. So we're still finding them. So if you hear someone say, well, you know, my family member was a veteran and they weren't identified, please give us that information.
Please tell us.
Yeah, please tell us. But anyway, the cemetery is really looking good. If you get a chance to drive out there and look, all those extra wreaths hanging there on the little short shepherd, so it's really pretty. All right, that brings us to the minutes of November 10th, 2025 regular meeting. Does the council have an opportunity to look at those minutes? Entertain a motion to accept the minutes into the record.
Make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from the council? All right, roll call, please, Ms. Hines.
Mark Cisco,
Yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Rick Seven,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory.
Yes.
All right, that brings us to the financial report. Ms. Hines again.
So you guys do have August financials in your packets. I can read out all the revenues and expenses and the cash balances as of the end of August, if you guys would like for me to. We read the cash balances in the September meeting, but I'm happy to run through those if you guys want me to.
We got it right here, don't we?
Right, you guys
We're-
have them all.
We're good.
I usually
I'm
announce
good.
it out loud, but yeah, it's all things now. But, I was able to, actually, I won't take all the credit, Heather and I spent a lot of time getting August reconciled, all the entries in, wading through the issues with the software. So, this is the second month we've been able to reconcile since the beginning of the new fiscal year, which was when we had all the issues come up that I've been fighting with the software people on. So we were able to finally do that. So you guys do have the financial report, the revenue report, the expense report that runs through each one of our budget lines in detail and all that good stuff. So we are working on it, I promise. It did take some work, it took some elbow grease, but we did get through that. So you guys do have August financials in there. And for November, Heather was so kind as to manually put us together a bank report so I can report the cash balances as of the end of November. So at the end of November for our city accounts, we ended up with $1,781,744.89. And our water sewer accounts with $1,542,372.41 for a grand total of $3,324,117.30. And again, we're gonna continue working through those reconciliations and try to get you all the financials. I even said to Heather the other day, my goal is to be completely caught up by the end of the first quarter of the year, to where we're in real time again. So that's what we're working towards.
We'd like to thank both of y'all guys on the water, Clark, y'all do a fantastic job.
Thanks, Bob.
We can't say enough, as a council member, to present what y'all do for us and the city. It's just tremendous.
We got a great staff, though.
And then, look at right there. I mean, I think this is probably one of the greatest councils in probably the last few years. I don't remember a council this full of zeal to do a great job in this community.
I'll second that.
A lot of things going on in all. A lot of people have to recognize it.
People want to move here.
It's important that things that happen here, it's an attractive, Albany's an attractive place to come to. And I think that's a good report to the council, should report to the people, and the council, the clerks too. And the board.
All right. Anything else on the financials before we move on? All right, that brings us to bills payable. If y'all had a chance to look at the bills payable for this month, entertain a motion to accept them.
Motion to accept the bills payable.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that from council?
Yeah, the maintenance on the F-350,
Yeah.
is that the same vehicle?
No, it's different. The other one-ton truck. We got two. Yeah,
That,
350, right.
That shoemake.
Yeah. That's actually two different trucks, I believe. But we've had problems with the 350. And we had to take it back, and then we got a bad part for one thing, and then we had to take it back again. So you may be looking at the two different times that same truck had to go back, but I'm not sure. I think one of them was on last month, Jeff, and then two of them on this month, but I don't remember which two are which.
They both got 1114 on.
I will say also, after that happened, they did end up having to take it back again, and they did that time at their charge. So they did do us a little bit of a favor.
The one was front-end work for 2,600, and the other was for maintenance work. And it was almost 5,000, so I didn't know if that was the same vehicle or if that was two different vehicles.
Jeff, I can pull the invoices for you if you want to,
I'm not real sure.
because I'm not sure if I'm.
There was two invoices for the one vehicle, for the older one. But I don't really know if the two you're looking at, it may have been an additional, there's actually three invoices, but one of them's for the other truck. And, but it was a smaller invoice, I think, if I remember right. But we haven't had a lot of trouble with that truck. It's a 14 model. And, cause it's getting some age on it too, the other one's an 04. But we don't put any miles on them, so it kind of pays us to keep them going. But at some point it is. We might have to look at something different.
I think one truck was at Press, one truck was at Shoemake.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to take the one back to Shoemake again and then do that in charge.
I think there'll be another one coming for the second truck.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some
Right,
truck
that
delays.
is.
I think they're both running really good right now, though. They're both in good shape. But the truck, I think they took it back down there too. Got it one time, so it's in good shape. I say that. Yeah, on the wood,
I have a motion from Claude and a second from Rex.
Any further discussion? All right, roll call please, Ms. Hyde.
Claude Tisdale,
Yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Rex Evans,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Gregory.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Next on the agenda is ordinances, which we have none tonight. Resolutions, we have none. Municipal orders, we have none. That brings us to new business, from the council. Anything new that we haven't discussed already?
Pretty well covered them all.
Yeah. And then that brings us to, public comments. Anyone from the public wish to speak?
You go first.
Hi, you probably all know me,
Yeah, yeah, Paul.
for not good reasons. About a week plus ago, on Brentwood, the house next to ours, 109, you were up there with two of your public works guys working on concrete, I guess putting some
Oh, yes.
slop or whatever. Do you guys give away free hand tools?
I'm sorry?
Do you guys give away free hand tools? There's two shovels that have been stuck in the ground since then. I don't know if they forgot or what, because I came down here and I told, what's your name, of the water department?
My name's Lisa.
Lisa, yeah, and she wrote down the note, so I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, they've been sitting there, and
They probably had ribbon on to keep people from.
yeah, well, one of them, as the wind knocked it over and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
We'll be sure and get those. Thank you for
with
those.
regards to that, I had a little pet peeve. One of your employees took it upon himself, or someone told him to go from that property behind my house, uncover my spigot cover for the winter, and get water from it. Now, here's the thing. The spigot on 109 is right in front. Why didn't that employee go and use that one and instead come down my driveway, go behind the house where it's totally out of view, and use my spigot that was covered up for the winter? That doesn't make sense, you know? I mean, normally, if I was an employee and I was working at someone's house or front, I'd go up, hi, we're doing some work in the front, I was wondering, could we borrow some water? He came right behind there. I was in the kitchen having breakfast, late breakfast. All of a sudden I heard the water spigot going. I'm going, I looked up and I went through the blinds. He looked up at me like, oh shit, busted. You know, I don't understand the reason behind that.
Well, I apologize to you,
Yeah.
Paul, for that happening, and I'll see if I can't find out about it.
You know, I'm sure it's probably just gonna go get a file into the file department. Your turn.
Okay. Hard act to follow.
What was this?
Good evening, I'm Molly Severance, and, I'm here tonight to talk to you about the dog park. We love our dog park, absolutely love our dog park. We have a lot of friends, we all go down there around 4 o'clock. But here's the thing, it's now not daylight savings time anymore, and there are some of us that don't get home until like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they still want to go to the dog park with their animals, because that's important to them. Some of us live in apartments, not all of us live in a house. And we were wondering about the light that you promised us to have put up. And we were wondering when that was going to get done.
The light fixtures and the poles have already been bought.
Okay.
Of course, we're in a iffy kind of weather here to pour concrete bases and all this stuff.
I understand that.
We actually talked about it in the maintenance meeting today with my maintenance supervisor.
Okay.
I think they're going tomorrow actually to get the sonotubes, which is that tube that you pour concrete in to get that
We
in.
like that.
So we're in the process of getting it started, but please bear with us because we've got some ditching to do to put conduit back over. We got a bore under the road to go back to that street light across the road from the entrance to the dog park. There's a street light over there. That's where we'll tie and get power.
Okay,
And then we got to go, we'll bore under the road and get over to the light pole that will be out in the center of the dog park.
that
But
would
we've
be,
already bought the post, we bought all the products.
okay, so maybe when it gets better weather, is that what you're saying, or? I know.
We won't wait till spring to start this, but I'm just
Okay.
saying,
That's good, because you've
you
got,
know, if it turns
it'll
out
get
cold,
daylight
it's
savings
cold.
time, and there's not, it's used, that was kind of
We
a,
just have to work with the weather a little bit, but,
okay,
and then we also, had plans to pour that from the sidewalk over into the entrance and redo that entrance, so.
that would be really nice too,
we're
because
gonna
it
pour
gets,
concrete there
it
at the
gets
same
pretty
time.
wet there.
We're gonna do that at the same time we pour the sonotubes for the light pole and all that, so.
And also there is a rapid hole in the, down in the, would you say it's a quarter, 3/4 of the way down? The big hole?
Oh, into the fence?
No, it's in the grass.
Oh, one of those little sinkhole things?
Yes.
Okay.
We'd like to have that fixed too. Not that we don't like our dogs to go in that same hole during the rain time, because we have a few that really do.
Yeah.
But it would be really nice if we could do that.
We've already got those materials all in place. It's a matter of finding a period of good weather to pour that, dig that out and pour the sonotube. And then also to dig our ditch over there and pour into the road and all that, get all that done. It sounds like a lot, but it's only a couple of days, I just need 2 or 3 days of really good weather to do
But
that.
I understand that. And then the other thing is, how do we prevent people from dropping off their dogs? We have this event 3 times? 3 times, where they're dropping their dogs off
And just leave it?
and just leaving them. And then we, as a dog park group, there's like 8 of us, feel really responsible because that poor dog is sitting
Yeah.
in the gate by itself. So we call them animal control, you know, we've done the right thing. But it's not really our responsibility to take care of someone else's dog when they run off. It's that person's responsibility.
Yeah.
It's like putting a baby in the middle of the snow and saying, so long.
Is that happening in the evening? I'm asking this question because we have a very limited police department, but is that happening in the evenings of the day, or when is that happening most?
I think that was like around 3 or 4. I have to ask Miss Brenda.
The first 2 times was around 7 to 8 in the morning, and then late afternoon was the other time.
And we did find the owner of the last one. They'd been looking for their dog, so that was good. But you know, it's not our responsibility to call animal control. It's
So-
theirs.
So the owner of the dog wasn't aware it was at the dog park?
No, they left it at the dog park.
Oh, okay.
And just, I don't know where they went, but they just left it and it's sitting out there in the cold. And that, I have a big heart for dogs,
Yeah.
animals in general. Obviously, I brought my dog with me. We can't have that going on.
Yeah.
It hurts my heart to have that, and every time that we have to do something, there's like 3 of us that really love, we all love dogs, but there's 3 of us that have a really deep heart for dogs. Miss Brenda is one of them, and Mr. Justin, who goes down there, and we don't understand why people are doing that, and somehow we would like to, I don't know how we can stop that, but it's gotta stop.
I don't
It's
really know how to
gotta
stop that either. You know, we can't have someone there, you know.
No, and I understand that, but it's not my
No.
responsibility either. Someone
It
can't
is,
be just leaving their dog behind.
There have been a couple of times that the office staff has been notified that things like that are happening, and we don't ever mind to call animal control for you if you don't feel like that's your responsibility, but that's all that we have to do also.
Okay,
That's
so
all
we
we
can
do as
we can
well.
all
Yeah.
call it animal service, but.
Right, that's the only step that we know of to take as well.
We went down there and got a few, and we
Yeah.
brought them up here, and they hung out in City Hall until animal control comes and gets them.
That's
Okay,
happened a couple of times.
I picked them up in my car on the road, I mean,
That was the first.
we love dogs too, yeah, I mean,
It is an issue.
if you need to call the office, call us, and we'll call animal control.
They keep dogs in the office, okay?
We do if
We let them
we need
visit.
to.
Our dogs
that's
do.
good, I'm glad, at least I
Yeah,
have a little spot to go to. That's my
Yeah,
concern.
yeah, always.
And then we need a bigger sign to tell people to start cleaning up their poop, because that's getting, we have the dog, and it's a mystery dog right now, we don't know whose dog it is. But someone goes in there and we're responsible for their poop too, and it's not fair to us because we're cleaning up our own.
Yeah.
So, and I know that that's an issue, but, there's one big dog and one big pooper in there, and we are ending up getting sacks full of stuff, and that's not our responsibility either. But, so I don't know what we can do about that. I don't know if there's someone, you know, it's probably a useless point, but, and we'll just keep picking it up, but just, it's not fair to us as people that love that dog park and try to keep it really nice and try to let you guys know, you know, this is what's going on down at the dog park. Can we get this one little thing done? And I wasn't gonna ask for all of this tonight because I know that probably one thing at a time, but.
Well, the lighting materials have already been bought.
Okay,
They get
that's
delivered
really
here,
important
we
right
have it.
now.
Now, weather permitting, we'll get those in very quick. But
Okay.
I hope to see them in the next month. I hope to see them in the next month, but I
like
can't really, I wouldn't want to commit to that because of what, you know, it's all.
Right, I get that, I just, the dogs really love that dog park, and
Yeah.
we wanna make it really nice for them.
Yeah.
And we really enjoy it, so,
We may have to shut the entrance down for a day, when we pour that entrance, you know.
that's fine,
We may have to shut that down for a day or so.
we can go to the back end. 'Cause- and we appreciate the latch on the gate.
Yeah.
Because that was horrendous for a while, we had a few things going on at the dog park.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there were some visitors that didn't need to be there, right?
no, and then the gate in the back needs to always be locked too, and that's hard, because it's kind of like a hole that goes in a hole.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can grease that or something, make it a little easier for us older people.
Yeah.
I'm only 2 years younger than you, so, us older people that don't have as much strength as you did, and make sure it's locked when the people come in, you know, lawn mowing and stuff like that, because I have a very adventurous dog.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's gonna come back, so, and I don't need that adventure, I'm too old for that adventure, thank you. That was all I have to say, but thank you for listening,
I
I
appreciate
appreciate it.
We'll try to get that hole filled too. Whenever we find them, we try to do that. All over the park down there, you know, it's a low area next to the creek.
Right,
So we'll have little holes this big, just kind of sink in. We chunk them full of rock and they'll last for a long time. We'll paint in.
we appreciate it, because there are people, like I said, there are people that can't get down to the park during the day, and about 4:30, 4:05, it starts getting dark down there. And it's not scary. I don't like it, so, and I can't find my dog because he's black, so
Well, we'll try to get those in as soon as we can.
I appreciate it, thank you for
Thank you.
listening.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to bring up? All good? All right, we've got a closed session coming up here. Is there anyone else that'd like to say anything before we clear everything and go into closed session?
I didn't say any like that. My concern above everything else is, how we want to present Auburn to incoming people. We have our different festivals, different parades and whatever. And a lot of those are pet owners who bring their pets down to the dog park and visit, and we've had two that I know of, 2 times, that someone left because they was not gonna bring their dog into the dog park because of all the poop. So that set us all to thinking, okay, so we picked it up. And so I just want to keep what we are trying to get going with the state, with the city and everything, reputation, the presentable thing is to, you're welcome, come on in, and everything like that. But I also don't want people to feel like they're welcome to come early in the morning before work time starts for the park people and drop their dogs off.
Yeah.
And that's what happened the last 2 times. And so, So I called 264-911 just to say, hey, we need a control officer here. Whoever came, took the animals. But, I don't want,
Did they take the dog with them?
yes, both times I was the one who called me, they did. One truck with the city guys came and got the second one, and they said they probably keep them up in the garage building for a while, and I said, well, that's right. But the thing of it is, I don't know how we want to proceed the reputation someone's coming back with stray dogs dropped off, poop in the yards. Yeah, I want to keep it looking good, or sounding good, and being good for the city of Auburn. And so that's what we're trying to work with, is to
Well,
get that.
I'll be honest with you, if I saw a resident dropping a dog off and I knew they weren't gonna stay, I'd just take a break and go through the windshield.
And okay.
Can't agree or.
You can't comment, huh?
No.
No, maybe not. No, maybe not. Maybe that's a little too
Well,
much.
the second time, there were joggers out on the track doing their day run and walk, whatever.
Yeah.
And they saw somebody drop off this puppy. And they actually asked the puppy, the lady asked her, what are you doing? She said, oh, I'll be back. But they were there, when I got there, they'd been there 40 minutes waiting. She hadn't come back, so that's when we called the number, and we waited another 30 minutes or so for the officer or whoever to get there. But it was just the fact that they saw the lady do it, and she was brazen enough to say, well, I'll be back.
In all honesty, they're probably using that as a drop point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I don't think we want that to happen. I mean, in one way, it's a good thing it is, at least they're in a contained area, but then again, the reputation gets around, if you don't, you don't take it in there. I mean, you know, it's just like a sliding scale of good or bad.
I think sometimes that happens because we have had a lot of trouble in the past few years with our animal shelter and our animal control in general. And a lot of times our shelter is full, so people will call to try to do the responsible thing and turn them over to the shelter, and they're turned away and they have no other choice, which is a really hard choice that people have to make. So sometimes that's the situation, and then they end up doing something desperate, like we did with the dog park, and that's unfortunate. But I think some of it does go back to the difficulty that we've had in animal control throughout the county.
But
And I have to wonder if any of those people went back to claim their dog. Maybe not.
if they went through reclaim fee, they did, because that's what you normally would do, as far as I know. But I see it as being a two-way street. It can be good, but then it can be really bad, reputation-wise, for the city of Auburn.
I don't really know what to do about that. I don't know how to solve that.
Break them when it was gonna.
Yeah, maybe that's my help, but, you know.
Well, if I can find those missing concrete blocks we bought in, it went missing, I'll pick one up.
Just for the record, everybody knows I was kidding about the brick, right?
It's funny every now and then. It's every now and
Probably
then.
would, yeah.
All right, does anybody else got anything?
Maybe you could visit the analysis of putting a camera up at the park. It's not too expensive, because then if they drop a dog, you can get a license plate number and then you can prosecute them.
Yeah,
We've
Like,
got-
got a gentleman that did at the
Yeah.
animal control that killed a dog. You know,
We tried
fence.
this. We've got cameras down at that park.
You can
That's
turn
out.
them on.
But the problem was when we had another issue at the dog park, and I was trying to look at the camera footage. Our closest camera is so far away, I can't zoom out far enough to see anything. So we would have to get one closer to the dog park,
Yeah,
which is not impossible.
That's the line.
two, one on the street to catch a car coming and going, and one some in the facility for the dog park.
We could probably try and put one on that pole that I told you about across the road from the gate, you know,
Yes.
light pole. We could probably try and work something out there, but we thought about that. Got ways to get to, you know, cable, but we'll try and work on that as well. We don't monitor, just so you know, we don't monitor, we ain't got somebody sitting there monitoring these cameras. But when we have an issue, when we have an issue, we can pull them back up and look at it.
Is there an issue if a private citizen, goes for the dog park?
I'm sorry?
Goes for camera?
Huh?
Is there an issue if privately one of us were to put a camera up to get any kind of images of someone coming in and doing different things? Is that against the law, of somebody else's law?
That'd probably be a question for Elizabeth Till, I don't know how I would say a private person putting a camera in the public park where children are playing would probably cause little issues.
That's not something we could allow.
I don't know if there's an ordinance out, but I would say if you sit in your car and you record it with your phone, that would be illegal. But as far as installing cameras.
As far as just having something playing all the time, I don't think,
I don't know about that.
I would not be a big advocate of that. I'm not sure what the legalities are, but I wouldn't be a big advocate of it. We'll see what we can do about a camera from our side.
I know, but.
Does anyone else have anything? All right, thank you all for coming, I appreciate it. We're gonna go into closed session, I need a motion to go into closed session. Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Roll call, please.
Yeah, please.
Clark Seal,
Yes, ma'am.
Peggy Thomas,
Yes.
Rex Evans,
Yes.
Travis Fuller,
Yes.
Jeff Graham.
yes.
Yes.